Welcome back, everyone, to Little Rhody Wargaming for a game of Big Chain of Commands. We have two infantry platoons and an armored platoon on each side. There are two British rifle platoons and a Sherman platoon. And on the German side, there are two Panzergrenadier platoons and a Panther platoon. So in the last remaining months of the first version of Chain of Commands, we figured we'd go out with a big game. All right, so today's game is a flank attack. The Germans have deployed in this quarter here, and the British will be coming in along this long edge here and that short edge over there. So we went ahead and did the patrol phase already, since it's going to be a very big, very long game for us. So we'll just point out where we have all the jump off points. So the Germans have one right here behind this this hedge. They also have another jump off point. They'll be rallying around this dead horse here on this side of the river. They've also got one right in the corner of this courtyard here behind the tree, and one by the bridge, and then one on their far right flank behind this bush, still mostly deploying along that side of the river. For the British, we also have 5 jump off points. We have one right here in this wheat field. We have one right behind this house, one right behind the barn. There is one on the second floor of this building here, and there's one behind this little hedgerow as well. So to go over the terrain, all of the wheat fields are going to be, well, the one wheat field is going to be light cover, so long as you remain stationary in it. Any of the houses will be hard cover. The fences will be soft cover. The hedges will be soft cover. The stone walls are hard cover, as well as these brick walls here. Any of the sort of waist high fences, so the wood fences, the stone fences there, will count as minor obstacles. The brick fence that has the kind of wrought iron spikes on top will be a major obstacle, and these large industrial walls will count as high obstacles. The bridge will be heavy cover so long as you have the sides in the way of the incoming fire, and the river is impassable. So, all that out of the way, we will move on to the defenders.
All right, so the German plan is, well, we're essentially forced to come in over here, with the one exception of this here. Knowing Ryan, he's going to take a 17-pounder and put it right here and aim it at our deployment zone. So basically the plan is we're going to take a extra senior leader for one of the infantry platoons. We're going to take a pre-game barrage to try and slow that nonsense down. And the rest of our points will be spent on entrenchments, which... well, we'll either use it to line this riverbank and hopefully give cover to everything coming in over here, or if necessary, we could put it off of this jump-off point and have a little forward operating area to try and flank him with, depending on what he comes in with. Other than that, bunker down, shoot things, and hope for the best.
Okay, so British attack plan. We have a jump-off point here and a jump-off point here. So one of the platoons we're going to use to establish a base of fire, because it's got really clean lines of sight through these trees, which I don't think we mentioned in the initial briefing. We're using the trees as not only soft cover, but it's going to be direct line of sight. So given how these trees are kind of aligned here, we should have some fairly good lanes of fire. So we can get a section in the house, we can get a section behind the stone wall here, and we can also get one of our support points, which is going to be a 17-pounder that can just cover that road there. Over here, we can have another platoon. We have a jump-off point that can get men into this barn. We have a jump-off point that can get men into this house here and just kind of catch the Germans at crossfire. With these other jump-off points, we can also have the third section of each platoon possibly start to move out along the flanks if need be. For the rest of our support points because we have the 17 pounder. We also brought another 2-inch mortar, so that'll bring us up to three 2-inch mortars to get smoke out to cover any advances we might want to do. And our last and our biggest purchase is an AVRE to help deal with just the mass amounts of German infantry. So that's the plan. Set up here, catch them in a crossfire, and try to win the long-range firefights. Okay, so we're gonna try something a little different with the filming since it's gonna be such a big game. We're gonna try to keep it mostly overhead just to move things along quickly on our end. We're gonna try to make it so that you can see as much of what's going on. So if we have to move the tripod around, we will. But we're going to be doing British infantry, German infantry, British infantry, German infantry, British armor, German armor for the kind of platoon orders. So since the British are the attackers in this scenario, their first platoon will go first. So first phase, we have a 5, that was a 5, 2, 3, 3, and a 4. All right, so there's a pre-game barrage, but you all know that anyways, watching the defensive briefing. So we managed to get 2 sections through the barrage. We got one section here behind the stone wall and hedge with Overwatch, and then we have another section with the Bren team up on the 2nd floor, rifle team down on the 1st floor. They are not on Overwatch, they came in with the 2, which actually, need to put the jump off point back inside. And the senior leader and one of our support options failed to come through the barrage. So now we'll go on to first platoon for the Germans. There's the roll for first platoon Germans. We have 2 5s, 2 4s, and a 2. Yep. So we'll get that chain of command die over there for them and see what they can make of that. So with a 2, he brought on one of the German sections along with 2 entrenchments. So we have 1 here, 1 there, and they're going to be firing onto the Bren team, but that will spill over to both sections. So he's got many, many shots and hitting on 5s and 6s.
So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6?
Yeah.
So 6 shots spread out over 4 teams.
That's 7 dice.
Yeah. I was giving him an extra shot. All right. So we'll do 1 hit on the Brens and 2 hits on the rifles. So the first Bren team going right to left for the camera. We have nothing. Then the rifle team in hard cover. We have a dead. Rifle team that's on the 1st floor. We have nothing. And the Bren team that's on the 2nd floor. We have nothing. So we have 1 dead out of the rifle team. Is it their junior leader? It is not. So 1 dead man and no shock.
Cool.
So with 1 rifleman down, they're going to be returning fire with their Overwatch. So needing 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so it's going to be 2 on each.
All right.
And they are in hard cover. So we'll go 2 on this team. Took down the tree.
2 and a 5, so 1 shock.
1 shock on 1. And the next.
6, 1 guy dies.
So dead man, is it your leader?
He's on the other team. Does that not matter?
It's within 4.
Just not leader.
Not leader. Okay, so we have a point of shock on 1, and we have a dead rifleman out of the other. So you have 2 4s left.
Yep.
So you could bring on a senior leader.
I could.
But that would leave that platoon trying to get on as if you had a preliminary bombardment. Unless you have an adjutant. I don't know.
I'm not bringing one.
Okay. So nothing with those. We'll move on to British 2nd platoon. So there's a useless 6, 5, 2 3s, and a 4. So one of the sections, first section, made it through the barrage. Bren team's on the second floor, rifle team's on the first floor. They're going to be firing straight across at these men there. So, got 12 dice, meaning 5s and 6s.
2, 3.
3?
3 5s.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So, Will, you get to split them up between 2 teams. They're in hard cover, so you get to put the extra one wherever you'd like. So,
Okay.
however many dice you're throwing at the one that has 1 shock.
Throw, and the other one lost a guy, right?
Yep.
All right, we'll throw 2 dice at the guy who's got a shock, and 1 die at the other dude.
Okay.
I lose 2 guys. 1 on each side.
Okay. So, is your leader hit?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What happens to him?
5.
5. I believe that's a wounded, but I always forget what the stable is like. So, which one are you losing a man from?
I mean, the leader's on this side, so the other side.
Okay. So they are down to just the MG, and we'll see what happens to that junior leader. So the junior leader was wounded, reducing his command initiative by 1, rolled a 2 on the bad thing happens table, and there's no reduction in force morale. So we'll keep moving on with the British turn. All right, so the second section, second platoon, managed to make it through the barrage and deployed into the barn. We have the Bren team on the first floor, rifle team up on the second, and we're still able to get 12 shots on target. So needing 5s and 6s.
1.
Ah, okay. So Will gets to decide
All right, I'll put it
what
on
one that
the
goes on to.
squad that can afford to lose a guy.
Okay, so this one right there.
Nope.
And it's 1. All right, nothing happens. And all that's remaining for the British is a senior leader. Since we have a preliminary bombardment in place, might as well take the chance to try to bring them on. Okay, and he does come on, and we'll figure out where exactly. All right, so with that 4, one of the British senior leaders from that platoon did come on, and he's right back behind this building here. And we've got the German second platoon. So it's a... Is that a... That is an exact same role, or almost an exact same role as the first platoon.
Slightly better than
So 6-5, 4-4-3. So with the 3, Ted brought on first section, squad, second platoon, right behind here, and they're going to be firing out at the men in the barn. 21 shots, needing 5s and 6s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. All right. So, Brian,
that.
that's
Rifles.
yeah, 3 on the rifles, 2 on the Bren. So here's the rifle team. We have 1 dead. And then 2 on the Bren. Nothing. So is the junior leader hit? So roll 1 die. Don't get away. It is. What happens to him? He's dead. Ooh. All right. Roll a bad thing happens. 4. All right. So the junior leader of that section is killed. If you want to stand. So junior leader killed. You rolled what? A 4? That's -2 on the force morale for that.
And then, isn't there, in Big Chain Command, when you lose a leader?
We will double check that. Okay, so that was a junior leader dead with a 4 on the bad things happen, and second platoon dropped down to a force morale of 6. So here is the British armored platoon. So we got a 6, 5, 4, 4, and a 3. Okay, so with a 3, one of the Shermans just came onto the road right down there, still staying behind the house, went on to Overwatch, and that's all we're going to do with the armored platoon. So here is the... Well, it's a double phase for the
You want to bring the senior leader
the armored platoon. So we'll see what he does with it.
Those
So
usually
they're
put
electing
themselves
not to bring the senior leader tank on, and
House rule.
yeah, so they're not bringing the senior leader tank on because they don't want to potentially create command and control issues for bringing the rest of the platoon on. And we are kind of putting a house rule into effect as far as double phases go, since this is such a large game that you only get one double phase. If on your second phase you roll double sixes, it's just going to count as a point on your chain of command dice. So they're rolling again for their second one.
Chain of command dice.
And they get a chain of command die, a 2,
And a tank.
a 3, and a 4. Go. So with a 3, they brought on their first Panther, and is going to be firing the hull and the an HE shell into which building?
Yellow.
The yellow building? Okay. Yep. So which one's this first?
This is the machine gun.
Machine gun, in 5s and 6s.
2.
2. All right, so we have 1 on the second floor, so point of shock on the second floor, and then rifle team on the first floor is nothing.
All right.
So point of shock up there.
And then the HE.
Yep, so it's HE5, needing 4, 5s, and 6s.
1.
Got 1, okay. Let's put it on the rifle team.
So 4s, 5s, and 6s are bad. You're good.
And nothing. All right, so that's it for the first tank, and we'll get the shock onto the board. So they decided to bring the senior leader on, and he's going to be firing onto the same building. So we've got the machine guns.
Nothing.
Nothing. And then 5 shots from the HE.
1.
1. Rifles. Point of shock.
All right.
Count as being in light cover. So we got 1 point of shock on each, and that will bring us around to the British 1st Infantry Platoon.
No, that's... Yeah, sorry.
Yep, so we've got a 6, 2 5s, a 1, and a 4. So with the 1, attempted to bring a 2-inch mortar on through the barrage. It failed, but the platoon sergeant did make it through the barrage, and he is ordering both infantry sections to fire onto these Germans here. One of the infantry sections is down a single rifleman. So here's that first one, looking for 5s and 6s. We have 1, 2, 3 hits onto them.
All right, we'll do 2 hits on the thing with 1 guy left. He's down to 1, right?
Well, yeah, the MG and the one man.
Okay, so 2 hits on them. 1 dead.
1 dead.
1 hit on the other group. Nothing.
Nothing. So you have 1 dead man. Is
Not
the
leader.
junior leader hit? Nope. Okay. So you said you were pulling that out of the
2-man group.
the 2-man group? All right, so it's just down to the MG.
Yep.
And then 12 shots from the other section of the building. 1, 2. Another 3 hits.
Okay. Is the MG a reduced effect for being 1 man?
Yes.
How much so?
I think it's like 2 or 3. Have to double check.
Okay. Well, I'll put 2 on him again. 1 point of shock.
Yep.
And nothing.
Nothing. All right, and that is it for the British 1st Platoon. All right, so here is 1st Platoon for the German infantry.
2 chain of command, 2 2s, and a 4.
Okay. All right, so the senior leader came on, ordered the man to abandon that position there. He ran over to there, pulled a point of shock on this team, and is going to have that team fire.
They're actually going to fire at the barn.
At the barn. Okay.
So that's 8.
8,
plus...
and then there's 3 rifles.
3 rifles. Okay.
Meaning 5s and 6s.
1.
1.
Yep.
Should've changed
Rifle
dice
team.
up a little.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right.
Now roll a d6 to see if that infantry squad actually comes on.
Nope.
They don't?
All
All
right,
right, so we'll remove them from play since we screwed up the order of operations a little bit at the beginning.
No, actually, they're fine. Sorry. They do come on.
So we now know that first
have
platoon has an
something else.
adjutant
Possibly. Maybe. Who knows?
or another senior leader.
Maybe. Who knows? 4, 5, 6.
The viewers know.
8.
The viewers know.
They do.
All right, so it's going to be 21 shots into what?
Same thing.
Barn?
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be a barn with a lot of holes in it.
Yeah.
All right, so 5s and 6s.
That's the dream. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. So 3 on rifles, 2 on Bren. Rifles don't care.
Jeez.
Bren team doesn't care. Hooray, hard cover. And that will bring us to the second British infantry platoon. That's a pretty nice spread. 1, 2, 3, 3, 5. So with the 1, the 2-inch mortar got through the barrage. He's right behind this barn here. He got a great shot, managing to drop some smoke right here, blinding one of the tanks from being able to fire onto the farmhouse. And now the leaderless section in the red barn there is firing onto that German machine gun section with 12 shots, being 5 and 6s. That's some pretty good shooting.
5, 6, 6.
6 hits.
All right, so 2, 2, and 2.
Yep. So we'll go left to right. The one-man machine gun.
Nothing.
Nothing. The other section.
1 point of shock.
Point of shock. And then the fresh ones that arrived.
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, so we got 1 point of shock on them. That'll go right back there. And there are still 2 British 3s.
Your junior leader.
All right, so with the 3, the junior leader that is commanding this section here in the house is having the Bren team on the 2nd floor focus fire onto the 1 remaining MG. So needing 5s and 6s. That's 3 hits on him.
And 75 dice.
All right. You know what?
3 hits.
3 hits with 5 dice is impressive.
Nothing.
And he doesn't care. Okay. And there's 1 remaining 3 left. All right, so we're opting not to do anything with that remaining 3 because there's no real good deployment options over here where they won't get just focus fired because they're in the lesser cover, and deploying them out there will really kind of stick them out on their own, of their own initiative. So we go into the German 2nd platoon. 5, 5, 1, 2, and a 2. All right, so with a 2, Ted is going to be firing this section, this squad that's right here, into the red barn, needing 5s and 6s. Well, that's better.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, can the iron barn hold up to that? So you did what?
4
7?
Yeah.
So 4 on the rifles. We have 1 dead rifleman, and then 3 on the Brens. And Bren doesn't care. No threat to the leader. He's already dead. And then there's a remaining 1 and 2. All right, so Ted opted to pass with that other 3, as they don't think there's any good places to bring them on just yet. So we'll go on to the British Armored Platoon. Wow, 3 5s,
Okay.
a 3, and a 2. So with a 3, the Sherman down there moved up to the corner of the house. It is completely obstructed from the Panthers, and is going to be firing the coax machine gun at this section here. Because it moved with 2 dice to get to that position, it can only fire a machine gun with half effect. So we have 3 dice, needing 5s and 6s. Nothing! And that is it for British armor. We'll move on to the German armor.
Right there.
Yeah.
Here we go. 5, 4, 4, 2. Well, we get to use the big guy.
Yep, so the senior leader can activate.
Yep.
So the senior leader is using 2 command initiatives here to activate the main gun and the hull gun, and he's going to be using this third one via the radio to activate the driver of the other tank. But he is ordering his men to fire into the yellow house.
Yep. So, hull machine gun.
5s, 6s.
3.
3 hits. Okay. 3 into the no, 2 in the rifles.
Yeah, so we really want to.
Okay, we got a point of shock on the rifles. And then 1 hit on the Bren. The Bren is fine. And we have HE5.
3.
So needing 4, 5s, and 6s.
3.
So that's 3. And this is going to be light cover.
Yep.
So 2 on the rifles. We have a point of shock on the rifles. And then 1 on the Bren team. Dead from the Bren team. Is the junior leader up there or downstairs?
Doesn't matter, right?
Correct.
Because you killed mine or hurt mine.
It's fine.
Doesn't matter. So,
Right, so 1 dead from the Bren team. 1 shock on the rifles.
All right, and we're gonna move the other tank on 3d6 because why the hell not?
All right, so he's going to go
Stopping
flat out.
behind the bridge.
Okay. Hey, congratulations. It gets up to the bridge because it's fast and it's on a road with 3d6. And you just had another 4 and 2 2s left, so there's nothing you guys can do with that.
So we're just gonna
Right up through the smoke to the bridge.
should come back this way a little bit.
Fix the smoke.
He's in the smoke.
And then you shoot him. It's a negative to hit him.
And
Yep.
now we got the British 1st Platoon. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
You got it straight.
Which unfortunately doesn't help. All right, so with the 1, tried to bring a 2-inch mortar on, failed. With a 3, tried to bring on a support option, failed. With a 2, I brought on the 3rd section. They made it through the barrage, so they deployed behind the wall, and they are going to be firing at that German machine gun section right there. So 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you split those out over
3 guys.
3 teams.
All right, we'll put 2 on the fresh guys.
Okay,
1 dead.
1 dead. Is it a leader?
Nope.
No.
1 on the squad that's still, or the section that's still relatively intact. Nothing. And 1 on the other guy. Doesn't care.
Okay. And then with the 4, the senior leader that's back there is going to have the other 2 sections fire onto the same target.
Cool.
So the one that is not down a rifle, 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. So we'll do 2, 2.
2, 2, 1 on the
Yeah.
little guy. Right.
So 2.
Going right to left.
Yep. 1 point shock. Nothing. And little guy. Fine.
Okay. And then
I have 7.
all right. And then the section that is down a man. Same thing. 2.
Alright. So we'll leave the little guy alone. Fire squad, doesn't care. Squad you're aiming at, point of shock.
Okay, they are up to 2 shock. 1 shock, 2 shock, 1 shock. And that is the end of British 1st Platoon. And we move on to German 1st Platoon. And that is so many senior leaders. 6 and a 3. All right, so the senior leader right here is ordering one team to machine gun bear, having the other team fire, and they are firing into the Iron Barn. So it's 22 shots because of machine gun bear. They're down a single rifleman. 5s and 6s.
Not a great roll.
Yeah, for 22 shots, that
3
is,
hits.
that is the Iron Barn for you. So rifles. Point of shock on the rifles. Nothing from the Bren.
Alright.
Alright, and he's still got 2 4s and a 3. Okay, so with the 3, the wounded junior leader is having that squad fire at the Iron Barn. 3 again.
3, yeah.
Okay. Oh no, you're doing just fine. So rifles.
Finally killed someone.
All right,
Yeah.
someone from the rifles dies. Okay. It's not the leader because he's already dead.
Yep.
And that is that it for 1st Platoon?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for 1st Platoon, and we have the command roll for British 2nd Platoon. 2 3 3 3.
3.
3.
You guys like 3?
Yeah, that works. All right, so with a 2, the Iron Barn is going to fire at that German squad there. So needing 5 and 6s. Ooh, not a 1.
They're traumatized. They finally lost their real guy.
And then if there is a shock that can be pulled from them, then
So
you might as
there's-
well pull it.
So there's 3 on the rifles,
Ooh.
and there's 1 on the top. So I'm thinking
Unless you want to focus fire.
Yeah, pull. I would pull 1 from the rifles,
Pull 1
and then
from
have the entire section fire. So this is Brian's first time ever playing Chain of Command, and we threw him right into a big Chain of Command game, as we do here.
I truly appreciate it.
So you're losing 1 die.
Plus they lost some guys, didn't they?
You're down.
Yes.
No, he's from the Bren team. So you're down 1 die for shock.
Alright.
So 11 shots.
Three.
3.
And
Okay.
1 each. Alright.
British
We'll
firepower is
go
waning a little bit.
far to near.
So right to left here. So first one.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Can you do it? No.
Oh, damn. All right. And unless we try to bring on a 3rd section, which is not a good idea right now, that is it for 2nd Platoon. So we'll move on to German 2nd Platoon. All right, so German 2nd Infantry Platoon, they rolled a 1-1-3-5-5. So that brings them up to 5 pips on a chain command die, and they have a 2 1s and a 3 left over. So it's combining the 2 1s to fire this section here without any initiatives into the yellow house. Needing 5s and 6s, and damn, that's a lot of 6s I'm seeing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I think you should do all the rolling from now on.
All right, so we'll put 5 into the rifle team. Oh, that is 2 dead and a shock.
Oof. Yeah, pull those off.
Yeah, we'll see if the leader gets hit. No.
Well, hold on. You gotta keep rolling before you make that roll.
And the Bren, nothing. So yeah, the leader was not hit, but 2 dead men from the rifles and a point of shock. So with the 3, Ted deployed a squad right here. So they are out of line of sight from most of what's down there, or should be out of line of sight from everything that's down there, and really not anything from the barn. So putting all the shots into the yellow house.
1, 2, 3,
Not as good as the other
4,
squad, but
5.
5.
All right.
So we're going to put 3 on the rifles. 1 point of shock. Yeah, 2 on the Bren. We have a dead from the Bren. Is a leader hit? No. Okay. So 1 dead man. 1 dead man out of the
down
Bren
to
team.
1 guy.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And you have equal numbers of shock on the Brent team.
The whole squad shares the shock.
You better not take another one.
Yep. Then they get pins, and they're in hard cover within hard cover. Okay, so there's just a remaining 3 for the.
No, the 3 was them.
The 3 was them, and the 2 was used to fire the other one. All right.
You can't do anything with the leader's initiative, right? It just went to the shooting.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing for them to do with it. So that brings us to the
Armored.
Allied armor. Okay, so we have a 6, 2 5s, a 3, and a 2. Okay, with the 3, there is a Sherman that's already in a good firing position, so it's just going to open fire with the whole machine gun and the main gun onto this squad here. So we'll start with the machine gun, needing 5s and 6s. That is 3 hits.
So 1, 1, and 1.
Yep.
All right. So the one that's not part of the thing that's getting hit twice, far to near. Nothing.
Okay. Middle group, point of shock.
Shot and
Little guy, point of shock. All right, so single guys on 2. The rest of them are on 3. And then we're firing the 75 mil. So needing 4s, 5s, and 6s. So that is 4 hits.
So 1, 2, 3. And then
You get to choose where the last one goes since they're all on cover, but it's all reduced to light cover.
all right. So we'll do 2 on the first, 1 and 1.
Okay.
So 2.
So with light cover.
Point of shock.
All right.
If you want to grab that, I'll just keep rolling. Other section, point of shock. Single guy dies.
Is dead. Well, is he? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so his shock, I believe, all goes away.
Yeah, it goes away.
He's dead. He
But
can't be
he's
shot.
dead. I don't know if it transfers onto the other team. I don't believe it does.
That's a bad thing for a
Team
Team
wipe.
wiped
team
out.
wiped out. 3.
Okay, so that's a 3. Oh, we had the page marked. I'll keep going this way.
Is that what that paper's for?
No.
Team wiped out. Which, 1
3 is -1.
Cool. Down to 10.
So, yeah. First platoon goes down to 10.
Awesome.
Woohoo! And at the end of that firing, the armored platoon is going to use its chain of command point to end the turn. So the barrage goes away, and that little 3-inch mortar smoke goes away. So we'll clear all that up and then get back with the German armor roll. So the German armor have a 6, 5, 4, a 1, and a 1. So they have 3 pips on the chain of command die, and a 1, 1, and a 4.
Okay.
All right, so the senior leader is using one of his command initiatives via the radio to activate the main gunner of the lead Panther. He's firing its main gun into the yellow house.
Hitting on 4s.
That's
That's the after go dice.
Yep.
2 and 2.
They've switched dice. All right. So, rifle team.
Shock.
We have a point of shock, and the Bren is
Shock and a dead.
yep, shock and a dead.
All right. So the Bren is wiped out.
Okay, so that's a bad thing that happens for them. 4. That was -1.
And you have equal to the number of guys in the house. You get 4 in a leader and 5 shock.
Okay, so 1 more and they'll get pinned.
I thought it was equal. They got pinned. And,
More.
oh, okay.
Double, they break.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see if we can do terrible things to them. We're gonna play the everything goes into the house game.
Fire everything.
Yeah. So this is machine gun.
Okay, so 5s and 6s.
We get 2.
2. Well, can only go into the rifle squad now, so nothing.
And then
5 shots, meaning 4s and 5s.
that
4s, 5s, 6s.
is
No, only 4s and 5s. 6s come back.
3.
All right, so 3 light cover into the rifles. We have a single point of shock.
You are
So
pinned.
they are now pinned, which means that they can't move. They can only fire with half effect.
Okay.
But they're now in hard cover no matter what you shoot at them.
They were in hardcover anyways.
Yeah.
Do we have a pin mark?
Yeah, there is a pin mark somewhere in there. And that's everything for the German armored platoon. So we will roll for British first platoon. And we got a pretty nice spread there. 1, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. All right, so with a 1, brought on a 2-inch mortar, it managed to drop a shot right onto the bridge. And then with one of the 3s, brought on the 17-pounder. It's right here with his gun shield behind the hedge. And it has a slightly obscured shot onto the side armor of the Panther. So it is using both of his command initiatives to have the gunner fire. So we're looking on for a 6 or better. And that is a 6. Well, it's better than a 6. 12. All right, so 12, AP 12, hitting the side armor of the tank. So looking for 4s or better. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Geez.
7.
Nope. 8.
Okay.
As 8, so you have to roll the armor dice
Do you have any idea what that is?
of the Panther. And you're looking for 5s or 6s for the armor.
11.
We have heavy armor, right?
Yeah, Panther. 11 dice.
Yeah. What does heavy armor do?
Oh.
No, that's the Tiger one. That's got
The Tiger ones get the heavy armor, yeah. Panthers do not.
All right. Cool.
So you got 11 dice, you're looking for 5s or 6s. You're gonna want to block
6.
a lot of it.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it preferably.
10, 11.
So looking for 5s or 6s. So you block.
3. So that's 4.
No,
No,
4.
you gotta.
Oh, sorry.
So you block
You beat
4.
by 3.
We'll go over to the book here. 4 hits, I'm assuming is going to be very bad for the tank. Tank's armored cars, well, 3 net hits or more it's either knocked out or explodes. So roll a d6 on a 5 or 6. It does bad things to the infantry right next to it.
6.
Okay, so you get d6 hits on the infantry within 4 inches.
6 hits.
So 6 hits on that squad. So you're not in cover. It's right next to it.
Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 dead.
5s and 6s are kills in the open.
Okay. In that case, 3 dead and 2 shock.
3 dead, 2 shock is a leader hit.
Let's roll a different colored dice so I can tell. Yes.
Yes, what happens to him? He's dead.
1. He's dead.
Okay, so we got a lot to figure out here.
So that's the entire squad wiped out on that.
Possibly, we'll take a look. Okay, so a lot happened with that. There was two junior leaders killed. So first platoon went down by 1, armored platoon went down by 1, and then because a armored fighting vehicle was knocked out, the other platoon, the infantry platoons that could see it happen, they ended up going down by 2. So now with the remaining 3 for that British infantry platoon, the junior leader is going to have the Bren focus fire on the pin squad with 1 hit. So you are in as hard of cover as you can get. Okay, and then we'll grab the firepower dice for the rest of it. So with the 4, the platoon sergeant is going to have everything else fire that hasn't already fired. So we're going to start with the full section. It's going to fire into the pinned one. So needing 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so 2
So
and
you
2.
spill over with 2 and 2.
So pinned guys, take a death, and next to them, nothing.
Okay. And then we've got.
Hold on, that might do bad things over here.
You were down to 2 men.
4 shock.
2 men with 4 shock. So yes, I believe they are going to break. So we will resolve that because it's going to change the targets for the rest of them. So we'll get back in a minute. All right, so they did break, and they dropped first platoon's force morale by 2. So the squad that, or the British section that is down by 1 rifleman is now just going to fire at the next in line. So 5s and 6s, they get 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, and then we've got 6 rifle shots from the one whose Bren group has already fired. Nothing. So that was the remaining 3 in the 4 from British 1st Platoon, and we will go to the battered
Yay.
German 1st Platoon. Still has all 5 of its command dice.
So senior leader, 5.
So they're up to 5 points for chain of command. And it was a, what, 1-4-4?
Yep.
Lovely. The senior leader for that platoon pulled 2 points of shock, is having the entire squad fire onto the 17-pounder, needing 5s and 6s. That's some pretty
Better than I
decent
have
fire.
been rolling. That is 7.
7. Okay, 7 over 3 potential groups.
Get on to 3.
Yep, because they're within 4 inches of both teams of that other squad.
Okay.
And they're in hard cover, so I'm going to put the extra onto the rifles. So the one that you want to hit, they are,
The target's in soft cover.
Yeah.
but they have a gun shield, which is hard cover. So the one that you want to hit, nothing. The Bren team, nothing. And the rifles. Takes a point of shock.
All right.
Yep. Mind the rifles there. So that's the rifle team that is closest to the 17-pounder.
All right.
Okay, so that was one of your 2 4s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've got a 4 and a 1 remaining.
Oh.
All right, so they're not going to be using the remaining 4 or the 1, so we move on to British 2nd Platoon. And we have a 5, 1, 2, 2, 3. So with the 3, I brought the final section from 2nd Platoon on. They are on the 2nd floor of this house. We have the Bren there, and we have some rifles over here. So because of the angles on these windows, I'm going to fire the teams independently using a command initiative each. The Bren is going to fire at these Germans here in the open, And the rifles, 3 rifle shots that I get are going to go after that squad over there. So with the 6 shots from the Bren, meaning 5s and 6s, so that is 3 hits onto the Germans in the open.
Don't roll high.
So it's 2 and 1 then, right?
No, they are in the lesser cover, so all the shots can go onto them.
I thought it was you got to choose.
You got to choose where they went. I didn't think they're within 4 inches.
2 and 1?
We will look it up. All right, so 2 are going on the ones in the open, 1's going on. Ooh, so that is 2 dead from the ones that are in the open. And a point of shock on the one in cover. So is a leader hit? No. So you lose 2 men from that group there. And we'll fire 3 rifle shots at the other ones. So they get 1 hit.
And that's on the near squad?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, and then there's more dice to work with. Okay, so the senior leader just pulled 3 points of shock off of the section that's on the first floor. They're no longer pinned. And the 2-inch mortar tried to drop around directly in front of the infantry squad that's in there, but missed with a 3, no line of sight, and ends up drifting 6 inches behind them. So that is it for the British 2nd Infantry Platoon. So we'll go on to the German 2nd Infantry Platoon. We have a 1, 3, 3, 4, 4. All right, so with one of the 3s, Ted moved one of the teams back, and the other team is going to fire onto the building. So they can shoot at the building, but they cannot be shot at from the building. Jeez.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so it's 2 on all the teams in the building. So we'll start with the battered rifle team that's on the first floor. They take 1 point of shock.
All right, they are up to 4.
So they're not pinned again yet.
Good for now.
The Bren team on the second floor is a point of shock.
Okay.
And the rifle team that's on the second floor has 1 dead. The leader is hit.
Oh no.
And he is, I believe, knocked out. So he cannot activate until the end of the turn.
So Bren team takes a shock, and this guy, where's your Sten?
Yeah, Sten, just knock him over.
Yeah, I'm trying to find him.
But bad things happen. 5 on a junior leader wounded, I believe, is a 1.
I don't think you have a Sten in the squad.
And, well, I'll help Will find the Sten.
No,
Okay, so the this squad right here is just going to continue to pour fire onto the yellow house. As Ted counts up all of his dice. Why is this just a random order die over there? I don't know. But aim 5 and 6s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7.
Okay.
Who do you want to take 3?
The 3 is going to go on to the fresher of the rifle squads.
Okay.
So got 2 on the rifle squad downstairs. They take a point of shock.
All right.
They're almost back to being pinned again. Bren team upstairs is a dead.
All right, I'll hold that for now.
And then the rifle team that is upstairs has nothing. Junior leader is not hit, so one from the Bren group is hit. Thank you.
And you've got, what, a 4 and a 1 left?
Yeah.
4 and 2 1s.
Oh, 4.
No,
and
1 and 2 4s.
1 and 2 4s.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you can bring on a team, or you can bring on a
I don't think
senior
we
leader.
have anything to Shrek at the moment.
No, there's nothing Shrekable in range.
No. And the senior leader, I wouldn't bring that on quite yet.
Yeah, so you still have an infantry squad that is
Yeah.
off. All right, so that will bring us to British armor. Okay, that's
Yep.
not the greatest, but I can work with that. Okay, so that Sherman down there just moved with 1d6. I rolled a 1, which cut at the 2 inches of movement that it needed, and he's going to be firing his main gun at this infantry right here. So, 4s, 1.
All right, Ted.
It's in the open.
Don't roll a 5 or 6.
It's a 1. Okay, doesn't care. So, I can't do anything with the rest of the dice from that roll, so we move on to German armor.
All right, let's do some stuff here. We got a 3. We got
Double
phase.
phase.
We got 2 2s. So
Yeah, so you can potentially bring your second tank on.
yeah, we'll try and bring the second tank on.
No. So that just leaves you with the,
The big boy.
the senior leader. All right, so as you saw, the other Panther wasn't able to come on, but the senior leader moved up with 1d6, had more than enough because it's fast on the road, got up to here, and we'll be firing the main gun and the hull into the yellow house.
So machine gun first.
1 hit.
1.
We'll go on the upstairs rifles. Nothing.
All right. 2.
2. All right. We'll go on the upstairs squad. So rifles. Nothing. Bren. Nothing.
Okay. And double phase. I got some 3s and some 4s.
Yep. So everything could potentially activate.
Let's try and bring on the tank. It does.
Yes. So the Panther comes on. So the Panther came on to the road right here, and it is facing down the 17-pounder, so it's going to be firing. It's HE.
3 hits.
3 hits. Okay, so that gets spread out between the 3 that's over there, but everyone's in light cover now. So 1 hit on the 17-pounder is nothing. The Bren next to them,
Pin.
point of shock, and the rifles, point of shock.
All right, cool.
So we have a point of shock on each. Should already do 1 down there for the rifles. And then you still have that 4 for your
Yep.
tank.
Anybody can he see the command tank with the 17-pounder right now?
I can see I think the very ass end of it.
All right, then I'll just 1d6 up and fire the main gun.
Yep.
So 2 inches up should be enough.
Well, it's 1d6, so you can fire with full effect.
No,
And
I mean like I'm moving 3 inches. Is more what I was talking about.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go do fit in right there. God damn it. Fit in right there. And no line of sight on tanks. So big yellow building down that aisle.
Yeah, you can fire both hull and turret because he's a senior leader.
Yes. Okay, cool. So 4, 5, 6.
Look at the hull.
We got 2.
2. All right. So we'll go the upstairs squad, rifles, nothing. Bren,
Dead.
dead. What has it actually? No, it's not a leader. All right, so we have a dead. It's the second dead from the Bren.
Yep. They have what? 3 guys in the squad total?
Yep. So we're down to just the Bren there.
Alright, so again, still targeting upstairs squad. I have 2 hits.
Okay. Well, you hit the house. So
Gotcha.
I'm going to put it onto each of the rifles.
Don't you have to put one on the target squad?
Rifle
Oh,
squad.
okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So upstairs rifles, we have a dead. Downstairs rifles,
Shock.
we have a point of shock. So for the upstairs rifle, not a leader.
Okay.
Okay. And that is...
And they are pinned again.
They are pinned again? All right.
Yeah, 6 shot.
So here is a Pin marker for them. British 1st Platoon with their command dice roll. And we've got 5, 1, 1, 3, 4. All right, so with both ones have been used. The Piat team came onto the board just back here, completely out of line of sight. Just have them on the board in case I eventually need them. The 2-inch mortar fired and managed to get a direct hit with the smoke, just completely obscuring the line of sight for that Panther. And the 17-pounder is going to be taking an aimed shot at the front armor of that Panther. It's obscured, but he's using both command initiatives to fire, so needing a 6. And he hits. So we'll grab the armor pen dice for that and get back with the roll-off. Okay, so we got a AP of 12 on the 17-pounder, needing 5s and 6s. And that's not as good as the first shot. So we've got 2. And the Germans need to roll 11 dice, also needing 5s and 6s. See if they bounce the hit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 0 net hits. And that's nothing. Yeah, because equal hits and saves. It wasn't equal. The Panther got more. So that is the 3, and I've still got a senior later. Okay, so the platoon commander came on and is going to be having the entire infantry platoon firing onto that one German squad that is left there at the barricades. So starting with the first section, 5s and 6s. There's some good shooting. They have kind of zeroed in a bit there. So it is 6 hits.
All right, we'll go far side first.
Far side first.
1 dead.
It's dead. And then the other one,
1
point of shock, is a leader hit, because I believe you have 2.
No.
No. Okay, so dead rifleman out of that one. And we got put a shock counter over there on the left-hand squad. Cool. The next squad, or section rather, in line is missing 1 rifle shot. But they've done better. Oh, no. 8.
All right.
So,
Before
1, 4.
we got 2 dead.
2 dead out of that one.
And 1 dead.
1 dead out of there. So, is a leader hit?
No.
No. No. Okay, so pull 2 riflemen from there. And we'll pull a rifleman from there. We're back to the game of no shock, only death.
Yep.
And then the last section. Fire. 1, 2, 3 hits there.
Alright. We'll do... I'm not really sure how many guys are left in each of those squads, but...
So the rightmost one, you have just a loader and the machine gun. And on the other one, you have just a loader and a machine gun, but you've got the, 2 leaders are close enough to both to matter.
Alright, so we'll do, since it doesn't seem to matter, 2 on the far.
Okay.
Nothing.
So nothing.
1 on the other one. Shock.
Point of shock. Alright, so that section there, squad rather, definitely got pretty hammered from that fire. And that is it for the British 1st Platoon. Alright, so German 1st Platoon. End of turn, which is going to be a double phase, a 3 and a 1. So we'll end the turn for the figure out what's going to happen from there.
First, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I believe order of operations, that would happen, but we'll double check because I don't think this has happened in at least a year of us playing Chain of Command. Okay, so we combined the...
And this goes up 1, because I got a 5 in there.
No, you had the 3 and a 1 because you
Sorry,
combined it for the senior leader.
you're right.
So he combined the 3 and the 1 for the senior leader that was over here, who ran back to get within 4, get some cover behind the tank, but also be within 4 inches and technically attached to that squad. And rallied 2 points of shock off, which brought them down to pins. Turn ended, all the smoke went away except for the burning tank. So we have their second command roll. So that's a 5, 1, 1, 2, and 2.
So 4.
Okay, so he combines the 2 and 2 1s to activate the senior leader that was here, pulled the rest of the shock, unpinning them, and they ran back into cover over here, taking another shock. And with a 2, this section is just going to fire on their own initiative at the 17 pounder. They've got 15 shots. 5s and 6s.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, that's a good roll.
That is a very good roll.
So that is 3, 6, 9.
Okay, so going left to right, we'll do 3 on the 17 pounder, hard cover. So nothing. 3 on the Bren team next to them in hard cover. Oh, Bren team is wiped out.
Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah, quite possibly. And then the rifle team takes 1 point of shock, but is the junior leader. That is
senior leaders over there too, don't you?
senior leaders are on the far side.
Okay, cool.
Let's see if that section's junior leader is it. Okay, he is. What happens to him? He is a 3. We always confuse this. Either he's wounded or he's knocked out. I think he's knocked out.
Was that
but
1
we'll
point
get
of
back
shock
with
or
that.
2? Sorry.
All right, so that was a... the leader was wounded, rolled a 4 on the bad things happen, and first platoon went from a force morale of 8 down to a force morale of 7. So here's second platoon's command roll. Okay, 6 and a 5. So that brings them up to 4 points on their chain of command die, and they have a 1, 2, and a 3. All right, so combined the 3 and the 1 to activate the senior leader. It was back behind the yellow house here. Pulled 2 points of shock, unpinning the section that was on the first floor, and they just moved with 2d6 to get out the back. With the 2, the section that was on the second floor just moved, used its full action to move down to the first floor. So we'll get back, and that's everything the platoon could do, so we'll get back with the German second platoon. Okay, so here we go with the German second platoon's roll. All right, we have 6, 5, 4, 4, and a 1. Okay, so Ted is using his chain of command die along with the 1 to have that Panzer Shrek team pop up there on the road, and is firing a kind of long-range shot at the Sherman, needing a 7. Okay, he hits. So the Panzer Shrek is 13, AP 13, so he's got to roll 13 dice. He is looking for 5s and 6s.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh, no.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. That Sherman might be in trouble. So I have 6. I have armor 6. I'm looking for 5s and 6s. I get 1. So the tank is knocked out.
Does it explode?
Yeah, Ted, roll a d6. I'll get the page and we'll see if it explodes.
2.
2? No, I believe it's just knocked out. Yep, on a 1 through 4 it's knocked out, and on a 5 or 6 it explodes, killing the junior leader. So that Sherman is knocked out. We'll roll up some of the bad things, consult the chart, and find out what Ted's next move is. Okay, so Ted has elected to keep his senior leader off the board, and the larger of the two machine gun teams over here is just going to fire everything it's got into the yellow house. So he's got 11 dice, needing 5s and 6s.
2.
2. Well,
I guess I was gonna roll a lot of 5 and 6, but I did with the Shrek.
yep. So hardcover, Bren team, point of shock, and rifle team, point of shock. So we got 1 shock on each. There's already a shock counter over there. I think that was probably, knowing me, it was probably the rifle team.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
It's been about 2 weeks, so we don't remember. But so 2 on the rifles, 1 on the Bren, and we move to the British armor. I'll just roll those up now.
You can get the command vehicle on if you want.
Yeah, that's kind of garbage, actually. I don't want to bring the command vehicle on because then the rest of the platoon's going to have a hard time getting on.
Is the Firefly the command vehicle, or is it one of the
No, the Firefly is not the command vehicle.
Okay.
The command vehicle's one with a whole bunch of stowage on it. So,
Cool. So that's that.
yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to have to pass with that, with the British armor. Unfortunate. German armor.
Well, both tanks are going. 1 on chain command.
And a 6. Okay. Okay, so this Panther managed to move up
10.
3d6, got a 10-inch move, got up there trying to get some hold down cover, and the platoon commander is just going to blast everything into the yellow house?
Yep.
Okay. So what are we firing first?
I got 6 dice in my hand, so that'll be
Okay.
machine gun.
Machine gun, 5s and 6s.
2.
2. All right, so we'll do 1 on the rifle team. Oh, we got dead on the rifles. And the Bren, nothing.
Hold on.
Is...
Don't pull it yet, because I still got 5 from the same squad.
All right. Needing 4, 5s, and 6s.
I got 1.
1. All right, that's going to go on the rifles. Light cover. Point of shock.
Okay.
Was the leader hit? He was not. So we got a dead rifleman and a extra point of shock onto the rifles. So we'll pull them before moving to the British 1st Platoon. All right, so British 1st Platoon. We have a double phase. 2 4s and a 1. So see what I can make of that. All right, so we pulled a point of shock over there on one of the rifles, and the 17-pounder is going to try to hit this vehicle. It's getting it's aiming, but it moved flat out, so it's canceling it out. Need a 7 on 2d6. It hits. So we are hitting front armor again. So that's going to be 12 dice, needing 5s and 6s. Against 11 dice, needing 5s and 6s. So here's the AP hit. So that is 3. Not great. Probably won't knock it out, but hopefully we can do some damage. And that's 2.
Yep.
All right. So that is on 1 net hit. I gotta roll a d6 for it. And a 4 on 1 net.
1 shock.
Okay.
Okay.
All future movement will be faster flat out, but removing the lowest dice rolled each time.
So there's some shock on there. The other senior leader there is just going to have all of the entire platoon open fire on that German infantry squad there. So there were some losses to firepower. We'll figure that out, but I know that there is still one squad that is firing with everything. So we'll roll them, needing 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits.
All right.
2 and 2.
Far.
Far.
Nothing near. 1 dead.
1 dead. Is a leader hit?
No.
Nope. Okay, so we'll pull a dead man out of left squad. So they're just down to, well, the
Machine gun.
the machine gun and the squad leads right there. And let me go figure out just what we've got for firepower from the rest of the platoon. And we're back with more shooting. So the one that the Bren team got kind of messed up and the junior leader is knocked out. They are firing with only 9 dice, so needing 5s and 6s. And we've got 5.
All right, we'll do 2 and then, sorry, 3 and then 2.
So 3 on the, well, less messed up one.
Slightly.
Point of shock. And then 2 on the other one.
Nothing.
Nothing. Alright, so we'll put that shock over there. Sure. 3 shock total on a 4-man team. Close to getting pinned out.
Yep.
And then, if I can grab all the dice, we have the one with 11 shots, needing 5s and 6s. We got 3, 4 again.
Alright, again, far side to near side. We got a shock and a dead. So
Okay.
that team is gone.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Sorry.
your leader hit?
The team is gone.
The team is gone. Okay. So I believe they also, that shock from them goes away because they no longer exists.
Fair.
And we have a bad thing happens for a team getting wiped out.
4.
4 is, we really need to print this out. We probably have at one point, and we just don't know where it is. Team wiped out, a 4 is -1.
Alright.
So they are down to a force morale of 5. And then I have a 1. I think I'm just gonna have the 2-inch mortar try to put a smoke round right back over there. And that's a 1, so we are going to drift. We'll show you where it ends up and the second phase roll for that platoon. All right, so it landed 6 rounds to the right, which kind of works out because it blocked one of the German teams there. And we have the second phase. That is a very good spread. So we have 3 3s and 2 4s. All right, so with the first 4, the British did a little bit of maintenance. One of the senior leaders pulled 2 points of shock off of this section's rifle team and ordered one of the men from the rifle team to go support the Bren gunner. So the Bren now has 2 men in it. With a 3, I'm going to have the 17-pounder take an aimed shot at the obscured Panther that has not moved flat out in the previous phase because the previous phase was mine. And I hit him in the last phase. So looking for a 5. Okay, that is a double 6, which is going to be bad things for that tank. I believe I add 3 extra AP dice to it, but we will double check that. Yes, so that was an additional 3d6, so the 17-pounder is hitting with 15 dice, needing 5s and 6s. That was abysmal. I got 1.
All right.
Can you get... Ooh. Yeah, can you get 2 on 11 dice?
I make no promises. but yeah.
Yeah, you got 4. All right, so
Got more than that. That's 4 6s.
Oh, jeez.
I think
Yeah,
with
so-
6, I think I bounced the shot back into your gun.
All right, so the front arm of the Panther deflects the shots, and so I'm going to be using. We were discussing it off camera because it comes up so rarely. But I have 2 junior leaders over there, technically 3, but one of them's knocked out, and I have 2 3s remaining. So for the 2 junior leaders that are conscious, they are going to use 5 rounds rapid on their rifle teams. So we'll go with the first rifle team. So they would have 6 shots normally, but he's using 2 command initiatives, so he gets an additional 2 rifle shots. So they will fire first at, well, the only infantry target that they have available, which is that very badly shot up German squad. So 5s and 6s for those rifles. And that is 3 hits. And there is a point of shock. So that brings them up to 3 shock with 3 men, including this junior leader.
So they're pinned?
So they're going to be pinned out, which would make their cover better, but considering they have the best cover they're going to get, and none of this small arms fire is degrading their cover, not super helpful. So the second junior leader, there's only 5 riflemen in that, so that will be 5 plus the 2 for the 5 rounds rapid, bringing it up to 7. Hitting on 5s and 6s. So that is just 1 hit. Nothing? And now that was both of my 3s, so I'm going to use the 4 to activate the remaining senior leader over there. And he is going to have all 3 of the Bren teams fire. So starting with first, 6 shots, being 5s and 6s. 1 hit. We have a dead man. Not the leader. Okay, so you are down to
3 shock, 2 men.
So you have more than doubled.
I'm 3 shock, 2 men? No, I haven't.
Right. Still pinned. Next Bren. That is 1 more hit.
Kill.
Kill. Is it the junior leader?
Nope.
It is not. So I believe that squad has been wiped out.
Yeah. But junior leader's not killed.
No, the junior leader is not killed yet. I'll shoot at him with another Bren and we'll see what happens.
This squad's wiped out. Is he gone? Like, how does that work?
I don't believe so. I don't know if the squad
So he's
is
just
technically
an extra junior
gone.
leader that can run around and do stuff?
I think so. I don't think he can be attached to any other
Okay, cool.
squad, though. So he's just... Well, let's see if he's still alive.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, last Bren. 1 hit.
Doesn't matter.
He's, yeah, pinned.
Can't
But
pin
we
a
do
junior-
have...
Can't pin a leader, so.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a weird scenario. But we do... I don't know if the squad is actually considered wiped out, because the squad's gone, but the junior leaders there will figure it out. Alright, so we don't know if this is 100% right. The rules were a little convoluted on it. We couldn't quite figure anything that works, but we decided to kind of run it the same way that we did when a tank is knocked out, but the junior leader is not killed. We just had the junior leader leave the table since his squad is no longer there. Could he have stayed on? Sure, he'd be a force morale bait. Technically, the only thing he can do is act as an infantryman himself that doesn't care about shock. But we figured that was probably not the right call. So with the squad being wiped out, the German first platoon went from a force morale of 5 down to a force morale of 2, which triggered a bad things happen. Yeah, down to a force morale of 4, which lost a die and triggered a bad thing happens roll for the other 2 platoons, since a friendly platoon lost a command die. Second platoon, the armored platoon was fine. Second platoon lost a single force morale.
Yep.
So,
First platoon.
German first platoon is up with their 4 remaining command dice.
2s and 3s.
Yep, 2s for all those junior leaders that you still have on the table.
I have 3. I have a guy or squad off the table.
There's a squad that can come onto the table, so we'll figure out what you do with the 3s and the 2s. Okay, so with a 3, the last squad has come on off of the dead horse, is just crawling tactically across the road, looking to try to move in on the flank of second platoon. And then with one of the 4s, the senior leader that's over here just pulled a point of shock and had the surviving men just tuck even further back behind the house. So we will go on to British second platoon. And it is a end of turn
Interesting.
with a 4 and a 3. Okay, so with the 4, some shock was pulled from the men that were still in there, and they got out the back of the house. And then with the 3, the section that was already behind the house just pulled 2 points of shock. All the smoke went away. The wounded junior leader from first platoon stood back up, and we have the second roll for this platoon, which is,
Okay, chain of command.
well, we got a chain of command point because we're not doing multiple double faces. And I have a 1, 2, and a 3. So, with those dice, managed to make a 4. So this platoon commander here managed to pull some shock, get this section here onto Overwatch, covering this way. And, oh, that actually leaves me with a 1. No, it doesn't.
No, you made a 1 with a 3 and the 1.
Right. I
Or
used
you made a
it,
4 with a 3 and the 1.
so I still have a 2 left. Not that I can do anything with it. I may have jacked a few things up.
No, I think you spent the 2 to put them on Overwatch because you pulled a bunch of shock and then you moved people.
I pulled a shock.
Yeah.
I moved them back.
You moved
And
that
with a
back.
command initiative, I put this group on Overwatch.
Then those guys are still in the bar.
I used the 2 to move them out of the bar.
There you go.
That's how I did it. There was a lot of back and forth with this. Yeah, so that's second platoon. We move on to German second platoon. And they've got a 2-2-2-3-5. So you got a pip on the chain of command back, and you've got a pretty full hand. Okay, so we have just a general, though kind of ad hoc advance over here. So the remaining squad from second platoon came on to support first platoon, along with second platoon's senior leader. So all of second platoon senior leaders are on.
The only thing he has off the board is the
Panzer Shrek that's down to 2 rounds. And then this squad here shuffled a little bit with the 2 to try to provide some machine gun cover while keeping mostly in cover themselves. So we have the British armor platoon, which is a double phase.
Oh, great. Oh, command vehicle.
A 2, a 4, and a 5.
How much does that put you out on that one?
Puts me at 3.
Okay. Do you want to bring your command vehicle on?
I don't, but
Come, bring me new targets.
I don't want to bring them on, but
Oh,
I'm probably going to have to.
Okay. That can fuck you up. That does.
So I will figure out where the command Sherman is coming on. Okay, so I decided to go for it. The tank platoon commander came on 6 inches from the road here and is going to be firing its main gun and its coax. Not coax. Its hull machine gun. I'm going to be firing it at focus firing it onto the not focus, but my main target is going to be this one here.
Okay.
Because if I can mess up their force morale even more, then that'll create some command and control issues. So I will start with the 75. So 4 5s and 6s. So that is 3 hits.
So that's going to be
It's
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's going to be spread out between the 3 of them. So let's go, I guess.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, camera viewpoint. So no cover. You're in the open with these. So nothing. Dead.
2. Oh, sorry, that's not me. That's Ted.
Yep.
I shouldn't be rolling that.
Point shock.
Alright, so is it my leader? No.
No. All right, so you lose
One guy off that
a
side.
man from here.
Yep.
And then...
He's not British.
Yeah, no.
Ted gets one shot.
Ted gets one shock. And now, gonna have the
Machine gun.
bow machine gun fire. Same thing, except I need 5s and 6s, so that's 2.
Okay. So
You are in light cover with this one.
this will be both on my guys.
Yep,
So nothing. Shock.
point shock. Okay. And now we roll the second phase for the armored platoon. Well,
2 chain of command points.
yeah, 2 chain command points, a 1 and a 2. So not ideal. Not ideal at all.
5 though, right?
Yep, that brings me up to 5. And let's see if I can bring another tank on. I do. And we'll figure out where it shall go. All right, so
driver
I
and the
combined the 2 and the 3, managed to bring another Sherman 5 through, and it's just kind of drove perpendicular to the road, managed to get far enough up to at least bring its 75 to bear. It's going to fire at the same target, so this one here, needing 4 is better. So that is better. That is 5 hits.
Okay, so we'll go 2, 2,
And
1.
they're in the open, yeah, so we'll put 2 on each one of yours first.
Alright, so I'll do the same thing.
Yep, near far.
Nothing.
Wow.
1 dead. And Ted, you get a roll. I'm going to check my leader. It is my leader. 2.
He is knocked out.
Okay. No. Ted, you got a roll.
Yeah, he's in there somewhere.
Somewhere in there is their leader.
Yeah, Ted, there's 1 no cover hit on one of yours. So there's a dead. Is one of your leaders hit? No. Okay, so you just have a dead out of there. And we go on to the German armor.
Alright.
German armor dice right there.
Okay. Well, we get 3 pips on the chain of command, so that is a full chain of command plus 1.
For the armor.
Yep.
And then you have a 3 and a 1.
Ted, can I see anything with the Panther?
Which one?
Either of them.
Oh. Yeah, we'll check line of sight and see what Will's going to do with the tanks. All right, so he's going to use the 3. The 1's not going to do anything to activate the junior leader here in this tank. So we check line of sight, and this tank can get a hull down shot against the side armor of the command tank, so he's going to take it. It is hull down, so he's going to be looking for a 9.
All right.
9 or better on 2d6. Oh my, jeez.
I'll take that.
So it's a double 6. So he's going to be getting 3 extra d6 on the AP strike, and he's going to need 4 plus. Yeah.
12. So you get 15.
So you get 15 against my armor of 6. I think that's I think that tank platoon commander is toast.
You say that, but I've been managing to roll pretty badly tonight.
I mean, I rolled what, 1 hit on 15, so.
So we'll see. Okay.
No, he's in trouble.
2, 3. There's 4 there. And then 1 more. So that is 4, 8.
Oh, jeez.
So he's taking
So if
something.
I get every single one of these, it's at least 2 net hits.
No, you
I
don't.
got 2.
So it's 6.
So that's, yeah. So,
Does he explode?
well, roll a d6.
Well,
We'll
5
see
or
if he
6.
explodes.
5.
Explodes.
Okay. He explodes, which is going to kill the senior leader, and lots of bad things are going to happen.
Oh, get the fire. Get
So,
the fire.
so we'll get back with that, and that may have just completely turned the game around. Okay, so the British Armored Platoon is now down to 3 force morale, because the platoon armored fighting platoon command vehicle was knocked out. Plus, it killed the senior leader. They ended up getting -3
For the senior leader.
for the senior leader dying. So that brought them down, causing a loss of a command die, of command dice for that platoon, which also affected the other platoons. So first platoon went from a 7 to a 6. Fortunately, second platoon was not affected, because otherwise that would have prompted another bad things happen roll for the remaining platoons from the loss of command die. So now we go on to
Your good platoon.
yeah, now we go on to British First Platoon, and hopefully that 17-pounder can avenge the senior leader. All right, so we got that's not a great roll. That's a 6 and a 5. That does bring them up to a chain of command die. So yeah, we'll see what they can make work. So I made a mistake, because there, as a few of you might be going, how come you haven't brought this in yet? My final support is attached to First Platoon, and I have both of the senior leaders in, so it's a 50-50 that this is going to work, and I really need it to work. So yes, it comes in, and yeah, we'll get back to where it is. Okay, so the last bit of British support came on. We have an AVRE that is drawing a bead down to the First Platoon section. So it is going to be firing its petard mortar and the hull machine gun. So we've got HE-16 for the main gun, needing 4 up. That was actually a considerable amount of misses. A lot of misses, actually.
Wow.
So that is 6.
All right.
So it did about as well as a Sherman 75 on the last round or two.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
So 2 on each of mine.
Yep.
I got 2 dead
Oh boy.
and 2
2 shock.
Leader's not hit.
Okay.
So 1, 2, and then this is up to 3 shock now.
Yep. And then 2 hits on the closer team of that German squad. In the open, so we have a dead and a shock, is a leader hit. No. All right, and then we have the 6 shots from the machine gun. Needing 5s and 6s. Okay, evidently the main gun was a tracer.
Yep.
So that is that 4?
4.
4. Okay, so you can split them up however you like because you're in equal cover for all of it.
Okay.
But an extra one is going to go onto one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do 1 on the squad that's been losing guys, 2 on the squad that's got. No, we'll do 2, 1, and then 1.
Okay.
So 2 is
2 points of shock.
2 points of shock.
So you got light cover.
1, nothing.
Nothing.
Ted, you get 1.
Nothing. So 2 points of shock. Back there. And then remaining for that section is 2 1s, and I'm going to have 2 Bren teams fire. There's a Bren team in here, there's a Bren team down here. I should actually... No, actually, I think I killed most of the men out of the line of sight from that Bren team, so I'm just going to combine the 1 and the 2 to just have that section fire.
Cool.
And it's going to fire at the
Same
rearmost.
Yeah.
Just try to whittle them down as much as they can. That section is still at full strength, so we got 12 dice hitting on 5s and 6s. And they have kind of found their range. So
2,
that's
1. So 2, nothing. 2 is a dead and
dead
a shock.
shock.
And then Ted, you get a roll. Shock.
Point of shock.
Is it my leader? No.
No. And your leader was knocked out there.
Yes.
So dead and a shock, 2 points of shock. How much shock do you have in total on that?
That is 6 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys.
Well, we will add all of
They're pinned.
They're pinned now? Oh, so tactical and pinned, they are in heavy cover.
Yep.
But unfortunately, probably not going to be able to get across that road.
Probably not.
So they are stalled out. That is everything from the British 1st Platoon, and it will move to the German 1st. All right, so here's the German 1st Platoon roll.
It's chain of command, a 2, 2, and a 1.
Okay. So,
All right. So
2, 2, and a 1, and might be time to bring in that other senior leader. But we'll figure out what's going on. Okay, so with it being German 1st Platoon phase, I'm interrupting their phase immediately with the chain of command die from 1st Platoon, and they are going to fire the AVRE again. Same target. My hope is that I can obliterate their force morale before I do, or before Will does what we know he was going to do, and ambush with a Panzergrenadier and hopefully annihilate my my armored platoon. So here's the main gun, needing 4, 5s, and 6s. That was a better shot than it was last time.
is it still 4s, 5s, and 6s?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's just your covers.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You now have light cover, so we have
Actually,
3,
aren't they in hot
6,
cover because they're pinned too?
8.
He's firing the big gun.
So it's 8 hits
Okay.
spread out over the teams.
So it would be.
It'd probably be 3, 6, 7, 8 since they were the main target.
So 3, 3, 2.
Yep.
All right.
So they're in light cover.
Yep. So 3 on the first one, 1 dead, 1 shock. 3 on the second one. 1 dead, no shock.
And then Ted, 2
Two
on yours.
2. Your guys are in the open. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Is it my leader? No.
And we have a machine gun.
So, Oh, sorry, I should not have rolled later then. Then keep going.
That is 2 hits from the machine gun, so 1 and 1.
One.
Hard cover for both.
Dead and dead.
Oh, wow.
So that is 2 dead from each squad. Is it the leader? No.
Nope.
So that is 2. So one of the teams is going to be wiped out.
Yep.
And one of them is just a machine gun.
And I believe you are now broken as well.
Probably.
So we will figure all that out. Okay, so Platoon 1, one of the sections was destroyed, so there was a bad thing happens for that. It broke and then ran off the table with the junior leader. So before the junior leader routing, it brought first platoon down to 1 force morale, and Will ended up having to use his chain of command die to prevent the bad thing happen roll for the junior leader routing, which kept the platoon in the fight, which would have been a really bad things happen roll for the remaining platoons. But they did lose command dice, so the other platoons rolled for a bad thing happens from that, but there was no effect. So we move on to the German, not German.
Well, I still have stuff.
Yes, you do have a 1 and 2 twos, so you could bring on the rest of the platoon.
Could.
You could.
Not sure that's a great idea,
Probably not a good idea at all.
but that's okay. Yeah, we're gonna leave it.
Okay. And yeah, in the full spectrum of ideas, it's probably about as terrible as you can get. So British Platoon 2. It's a 6, 1, 1, 2, 3. So with those dice, the second platoon just started rallying, bringing itself back into the fight, and it was going to be using a 2-inch mortar to try to start to obscure this tank's firing line on what's left of the armored platoon, and the Germans have decided to call it there and withdraw from the table. So we have identified some serious issues with this game. Some serious unbalances, certainly with certain scenarios. It's something that we've kind of talked about ever since we really did our first main chain of command campaign. There were certainly quite a few outliers with that campaign. First and foremost being I've never been that lucky in my entire life when it came to wargaming. So that was stacked against Ted, and his DAC dice went cold. But that really started to identify some issues that we've had with Chain of Command since. And since this is probably going to be the last game of version 1 Chain of Command that we do before the second one comes out, we figured we'd talk about it a little bit. There was one glaring one with this game, and it was really identified, or really driven home rather, by the fact that the British were able to bring a 17-pounder, an AVRE, and some additional support. And we've talked about it both after the first part of this battle that we did a few weeks ago, and more during this one, is that we definitely should have read more into the flank attack scenario and identified that it's not really an attack or defense scenario, so there was no real reason to half the defenders' support options. Because an issue that we've had the entire time, and that Ted is constantly, he will die on this hill of the force support disparity between a lot of forces can certainly make a lot of the games very unbalanced. Now, there's a bunch of factors that can be thrown into it, such as table setup, objectives, but for a lot of these attack and defense scenarios, there's really not much incentive for, outside of certain campaign games, for the attackers to really push the objective, and it kind of turns into a static firefight. which, while the hill that I will die on every single time is that a German Panzergrenadier platoon will outshoot anything else that it gets into in a straight-up infantry fight, the force support disparity between the forces really unbalances that. The clear kind of indicator with this game that we've talked about quite a bit was they had a massive comeback with this tank here, essentially really knocking the British tank platoon out of being an effective fighting force. But that really didn't help them that much because there was still an aviary off board that we were able to buy because we had something. It's been a few weeks, so
Like
I don't
10
remember the
extra
exact
points or
number, but it was something like a total of
Yeah.
somewhere between 15 and 17 force
17.
support compared to
It was 17 to 7
5.
or 5.
5, yeah, 5, 7, something in that range.
17 to
So
We were able to get a senior leader or an advisor in
3
three
entrenchments
bunkers. 3 entrenchment. That's what we got.
Well, we got the preparatory bombardment too.
and a preparatory bar. So 7.
Yes.
Yeah,
Seven.
7 points.
7 points.
17 to 7.
We
Yeah.
got a 17-pounder, an AVRE, plus whatever else it is you got.
I think I have another 2-inch mortar.
Yeah.
Of course.
Either a 2-inch mortar or a medic. I forgot which one. The medic would have come in handy if that is what I chose, but I don't remember. I would have to watch our briefing again. But yeah, the force support disparity is a huge factor in sort of the enjoyability for a lot of these games. As the British player, I've always been kind of on the receiving end of the
Well, you're
copious
always the
amounts of
attacker,
force
too.
support, and I'm also always the attacker. Which we've always talked about that in the past too, and it makes sense. The Allies did most of the attacking during a majority of the war, so thematically it's always kind of made sense. But
when it becomes a slugfest and one side gets 10 extra points, like that's
when it turns into a static firefight, it definitely becomes a
One-sided.
One-sided uphill battle.
Because
Sometimes the hill is a cliff.
we had a little comeback, but it was pure luck that we were able to take out 2 shots and 2 tanks. I mean,
Yes. Which honestly is what I expected from a Panther platoon going up against a bunch of Shermans.
I
That
think
should happen.
I think the platoons are well balanced. I think obviously they deserve some extra points on the Sherman platoon because Panthers are just better. It was really the scenario points that kind of screwed this one up a bit, at least in my opinion.
So hopefully part of our wish list anyways for version 2, hopefully the support points are significantly more balanced. But anyone that's going to continue to play version 1, until version 2 comes out, or just decide that you want to continue playing version 1 because you don't like version 2, one thing that we would highly suggest is look a little bit deeper into some of the scenarios and try to balance your force support. To make it at least a more enjoyable game for everyone involved. Because as great as it is to be the team that has a lot of force support, winning is fun, but sometimes at what cost? And it's not fun to just completely table your opponent with very little recourse that they have for it.
Game after game
Yeah.
after game after game after game.
Ted's gotten abused by the British a lot. So hopefully version 2 will address some of these issues, and when it comes out, I'm definitely going to buy it.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to take a look at it, probably play it. We're just most likely going to be going through it with a little bit more of a fine-tooth comb to see if we can address any problems like this that we've had with version 1, before it really starts to become a problem with version 2. But you should see some more of this, and looking forward to the new edition. So, it's been a long battle report. Thank you for watching. We're Little Rhody Wargaming. If you like what you see, and you like this video, please consider hitting that thumbs up. If you like what we do and you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we post something new. And as always, leave a comment. Love to hear from you, and also would really like to know the community's thoughts on what they thought of version 1 of Chain of Command and what they would hope to see for version 2. And we'll catch you next time.